Welcome back to the Division 2. In this video we're going through a Seeker build. I am Fox on YouTube. I'll leave a link to their channel in the description. They have basically put this build together, and I wouldn't say, like, the way I have it set up at least, it's not like instant Seekers, but they are very, very quick to come back. They're faster than your traditional, like, hardwired builds and stuff, and it's pretty cool. You do sacrifice a little bit of damage, but not too much. You can still get, like, 2.3 to 2.7 million damage per mine, but obviously, cooldowns have always been dreadful on the Seekers ever since Warlords come out. TU7 was the best place for them just before Warlords. So not many players use them, but I love the Seekers. They bring enemies out of cover and stuff. They're just fun to run with a skill build. So if we jump into the gear quickly and then we'll get into the gameplay part of it, you're going to want to set this up. You can sacrifice one skill tier off a piece of gear if you can get it, and you can run the Technician so that you can get that skill tier back. But because I've got 6 skills here on the build, I've just run with Demolitionist to get the extra explosive damage from that specialization. The Capacitor, you get this by completing 5 challenges in the Summit. And if you look at the talent, I mean, you can't really see it properly because of the lighting. If we stand in here for a second, we look at the talent for the Capacitor. Shooting enemies builds stacks to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, stacks decay 1 per second. For each skill tier, you also gain 7.5% weapon damage. I run the Harmony, don't really use it, but it's there for backup if I need it. And then if we look at the gear, we're starting off, we've got 3-piece Empress on the build because we're going to be using that skill efficiency. Skill efficiency will give you, for whatever stat it is, so for this example, 10% skill efficiency, you'll get in 10% repair skills, 10% skill haste, 10% skill damage. Every single utility or yellow attribute you'll get 10% of because skill efficiency is a 1-to-1 ratio for every single yellow stat available in the game. So we've got 3 pieces being on the mask, the gloves, and we also have the battery pack backpack because it's the named Empress bag and it's got perfectly calculated. So kills from cover reduce skill cooldowns by 15%. And then we're running 2-piece China Light, although what you can do, because you don't need far too much skill haste, you'll see that all of the attributes, even though they're not maxed out, are all skill haste and all skill damage. But because you don't actually need far too much skill haste, you don't need to abuse the skill haste. Instead of running the second piece of China Light, if you run 2-piece Gruppo, which is what I was trying to go for, but I just couldn't get the pieces together and I wanted to get this video out to help you guys out with it, it's going to give you 15% explosive damage, which is incredibly helpful for the Seekers, for the Cluster Seeker mine. And then because I didn't manage to get the 2 pieces of Gruppo, it's really tough because it always drops with red attributes all the time and weapon damage and stuff, and you don't want that. You're looking for skill tier. So the knee pads, I've got Wyvern just so we get that extra 10% skill damage, and then obviously I've got skill haste. If I could, I'd get rid of that 10% skill damage from Wyvern, and I would get rid of the skill haste off China Light, replace that with 2 pieces of Gruppo, and you've got 15% explosive damage, which is going to help you for your Seekers. So we've got perfectly calculated on the bag. On the chest, we're running Tag Team. The last enemy you have damaged with a skill is marked. Dealing weapon damage to that enemy consumes the mark to reduce active cooldowns by 6 seconds, and then it's got a 4-second cooldown. This is incredibly helpful. So basically with this entire build, you're wanting to use your weapon all of the time. Make sure you are sitting behind cover to utilize perfectly calculated on the bag, and then make sure you're shooting the enemies, the ones that are tagged. You'll see the red like skull under their health bar. Make sure you're shooting those enemies with the Capacitor, because with the Capacitor, shooting enemies is going to build up your stacks to get extra skill damage. So it's a very, very, the build synergizes incredibly well. But what we're going to do now is jump into some gameplay. You'll see me and Pete running through American History Museum, and then that's going to wrap it up for the video. Just quickly though, before we jump into the gameplay, if we have a look, I can't show you the damage. The damage is busted on my Seekers, but they've got a 21.1 second cooldown, and I'm running the turret with them, which only has a 9.9 second cooldown. So they come back fast, naturally, but with all of the buffs from the talents on this build, you're going to get them back incredibly fast. You'll see it all in the gameplay. And what we're going to do is jump over to that now. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this build in the comments. Remember, it comes from I Am Fox. There's a link to their video in the description. and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoy it.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done.